What is up? We are going to do a leg day today. So follow me and I'm gonna give you some cool tips to grow the legs and glutes. So let's go. So first thing we're gonna do today is warm up the knees. I like to do that on the leg extension, so let's do it. We're gonna start super light, 30 pounds, lightest it can go. Slow and controlled on the way up. I start every leg day with a leg extension because I don't want to have knee issues later in life, so I want to make sure I'm super warm. All right, after about 20 warm-up reps, I rest. I repeat that 2 or 3 more times. Typically, I keep the weight pretty light. Then I go warm up a little bit more with lunges, and then I'll come back to leg extensions and start going heavier and getting into my working sets. I'm gonna start with 70-pound leg extensions, toes pointed. This works the bottom part of your quads more, which I wanna grow, so. Toes pointed, slow on the way up, slow on the way down. I can't say that leg extensions are like the most flattering to record, but they're good for you. So my toes are pointed. I'm gonna shoot for about 10 reps. All right, so I did about 4 sets of a working leg extension set, which is about 8 to 10 reps. I probably couldn't have done more than the 10, so that was like my failure. So we're moving on. Next thing we're gonna do is a hack squat. So let's go. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is a squat machine. I typically, well, I didn't used to squat at all, and then I found this machine. I'm working on my form, and I'm having no back pain, so I'll show you how I do it. All right, feet are shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointed out. I think knees go over the toes slightly, and you just squat directly down. So I used to squat thinking like you have to push your butt back, and I would like arch my back and it'd be really weird like here, and I would get back pain. But thinking to just squat directly down, you feel it in your quads and your glutes a lot more, and there's no back pain. If you go slow and controlled, you can really, really grow from this movement. I feel it everywhere. So typically I have about 45 pounds on each side, and I do about 3 working sets until failure, which is about 15 reps each time. I rest about 2 minutes in between sets. The next thing we're gonna do is my favorite exercise right now, which is a reverse lunge with a barbell. So follow, it's so busy right now. All right, so for the reverse lunge, I like to start with 95 pounds and then work my way up to a working weight. For me is about 135, a 45 on each side. I feel like I get more sore doing single leg movements, but also like if you have any imbalances, it's really good for you. So, get the barbell on my back. Cool. You don't want to have any kind of arch. Put back. Stand up tall. So I like using a barbell as opposed to a Smith machine for these because the stabilizer muscles have to work harder. All right, switching legs. We did 8. Let's do 8 on the other side. Boom. Okay, so I wanted to explain working sets because I don't think I have on here. So you have your warm-up sets and then you have your working sets. Everybody views this a little bit differently, but I typically like to have about 2 warm-up sets, which don't even count, and then about 2 to 3 working sets. So when I give clients like workout programs, I tell them how many working sets total they have to have per body part. The next exercise I will be showing you guys is a reverse hyper. Heels all the way back. You want to make sure that your hips can fold over. So for this, I'm going to be focusing on my hamstrings first and then showing you how to do it with your glutes. Cool? So all the way down, focusing on the hamstrings, I'm gonna squeeze up. really stretching and pulling with my hamstrings, not activating my glutes at all. You can only go about this far. I feel it all completely right here in the hamstrings. I do about 4 sets of 10, focusing on the hamstrings, directly followed by 10, focusing on the glutes. So if you're arching your back here, you're doing it wrong. You should not feel this in your back at all the way down, focus on the hamstrings. All right, I go directly into doing this for my glutes afterwards. So I'll show you how to do that. This is also a really good song. They're like having bangers at the gym right now. Okay, so you squeeze your glutes. I like to pinch a penny between your butt cheeks. It's not very flattering, but you're able to come up more if you squeeze your glutes, and that's what brings you up. Slowly release down, squeeze your glutes together, and back down. Still not using my lower back. This is all glutes. I'm squeezing and back down. Squeezing and back down. Boom. For a body weight exercise, these are intense. Like, my butt's on fire. So definitely recommend. For a good morning, you can use a similar hack squat machines, but those are all taken right now. It's 5 o'clock at a gym. So I'm gonna show you how to do it with a barbell. We're gonna start with no weight, just the 45-pound barbell, because honestly, going heavy for good mornings isn't gonna be beneficial for me. I really wanna feel a stretch in my hamstrings, and that's what matters here. Whoa. Definitely not an ego lifter. So I like to think toes pointed out, weight in the heels and also in the big toe. I typically, whenever training glutes, try to have as much tension pushing my knees out at all times throughout the whole exercise. So I'm going to push my hips back. Legs are a little bit bent, and then hinge forward. So it's very similar to an RDL, but the weight is on my back. Hips back, hips forward, super slow. So if you're doing this right, you don't need any weight and you'll feel it. I could have the barbell off of my back, completely body weight, and I would feel a burn in my hamstrings and also in my glutes. I'm gonna do about 15 here. Total of 4 sets. This is my warm-up set. I'm gonna get 2 working sets. All right, so for this, I'm not gonna go super heavy. I'm gonna add a 10, maybe a 15 on each side, and get about 15 reps for my 2 working sets. The goal is 15 reps of a barbell good morning. You can train all day long. If you want to see good results, especially with growing muscles, you have to eat properly. What I typically recommend is to eat about 5 to 6 meals per day, each meal having protein. So I weigh about 125 pounds. I eat about 150 grams of protein a day, maybe even 160. So if I had a male client come to me and was weighing, 250, I would have them definitely be eating at least 250 grams of protein if their goals were to put on muscle and lose fat. So don't be afraid of eating. It's definitely necessary, as well as carbohydrate timing. So I typically like to have my carbs higher on a day that I want to grow. So for me, I want to grow my glutes, I want to grow my legs always. If that's your goal, you want to eat more food and more carbohydrates on those days. I also like to put more carbs around my workout. So say I'm working out at 3 o'clock, the meal I have at lunch, I'm gonna eat probably 50 to 60 carbs, typically rice. And then post-workout, right after I finish working out, I eat a meal and have another 50 or 60, maybe even more carbs, depending on what my goal is at the time. So that could be cereal, that could be rice, really whatever I'm feeling. So nutrition is very important. Don't forget to prioritize that. Obviously, I use Redcon 1 MRE Light as my main protein source. It's delicious, super fluffy, and it's animal-based, not milk-based or whey-based. If you want to see more YouTube videos from me, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I will be a little bit more consistent than I have been, so super excited to get more workout videos for you all. maybe some clothing try on, go ahead and comment below what you want to see more of. But thank you so much. If you try the workout, let me know how you feel after, if you're sore, anything. If you need help, let me know. Thank you guys.